This is Nightline and I'm Muhammed Ahmad Hamdan. News making the headlines. Malaysia and Thailand to speed up second Rantau Panjang Sungai Golop Bridge. And Negeri by-election to see straight-set fight between BN and PAS. Good morning. Malaysia and Thailand have agreed to expedite the construction of a second bridge across the border between Rantau Panjang in Kelantan and Sungai Golok in Narathiwat. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the decision to accelerate the construction of the project will serve as a stimulus for economic development in southern Thailand and Kelantan. According to Anwar, the decision was adopted during his meeting with his Thai counterpart, Srettha Thavisin, on Saturday, following his working visit to the Sungai Golok Customs, Immigration and Quarantine CIQ complex in Narathiwat. He stated that the accord clearly signals that both countries want the economic growth of the area to proceed more rapidly.
Sekarang sudah ditamatkan dan dalam pertemuan tadi kita minta disegerakan. Jadi satu keutamaan projek kerjasama di antara Thailand dan Malaysia untuk Narathiwat dan Kelantan. Tetapi tentunya ia memberi satu gambaran yang sangat positif tentang peningkatan kerjasama dari segi pertumbuhan ekonomi.
Anwar and Srettha also expressed hope that the second bridge project can be completed sooner, by the end of 2026 instead of early 2027. Additionally, once the second bridge has been completed, the existing Muhibah Bridge, which has connected the two countries since 1971, will also be upgraded. During the working visit, both leaders also held talks on bilateral issues, including border matters, as well as connectivity initiatives to enhance socio-economic ties between the two countries. Both nations have also decided to accelerate the development and dredging of the Sungai Golok estuary to prevent water overflow, which has contributed to flooding in Kelantan and the surrounding area of Narathiwat year after year. Meanwhile, Anwar has reiterated Malaysia's commitment to helping expedite the peace dialogue process in southern Thailand. The Prime Minister, however, said all proposals from Malaysia for the matter would be handed over to Thailand.
Kami minta supaya kita juga berikan kerjasama supaya mendukung usaha damai secara berkesan. Dan itu telah kita beri komitmen dan apa sahaja yang perlu, sama ada dari segi keselamatan, ekonomi, sosial, pendidikan dan kerjasama persekutuan kerajaan negeri-negeri di utara akan kita laksanakan.
Although Malaysia acts only as a mediator, Anwar stated that both Malaysia and Thailand nevertheless wish to see the peace dialogue process resolved. Malaysia is the facilitator of the peace negotiation process aimed at ending the decades-long conflict in the southern regions of Narathiwat, Yala, Patani and parts of Songkhla. Effective July 1st, former Director General of the National Security Council, Datuk Muhammad Rabin Basir, has been appointed as the Malaysian government facilitator for the Southern Thailand peace dialogue process. Anwar also visited the construction site of Phase 1 of the Sungai Kelantan Integrated River Basin Development Project, PLSB, in Tunjung, Kota Baru on Saturday. The Prime Minister was received by Kelantan Menteri Besar, Datuk Muhammad Nasaruddin Daud, upon his arrival at the site at 3:50 p.m. Anwar was also briefed by Department of Irrigation and Drainage DID Director General Dato' Ahmad Anwar Othman on the progress of the project, which has reached 94%, and how it will help reduce the flooding issues faced by people in the surrounding area each year. The PLSB, which covers an area of 81 hectares, is expected to be fully completed by July next year. The project, managed by the DID and costing 699 million ringgit, is expected to benefit some 95,000 residents once completed. Moving on, the draft Memorandum of Understanding MOU concerning the allocation of funds for opposition members of parliament has been finalised and is now ready for submission. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof stated that the draft will be delivered to the Perikatan National Chief Whip Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan by next week for their review. Fadilah, who is also the Energy Transition and Water Transformation Minister, said that if they agree to the terms, a joint committee meeting will be arranged between the opposition and the government. However, he declined to reveal the details of the draft, including the amount of funds to be allocated to the opposition MPs.
Tidak, belum. Yang itu akan dirundingkan nanti. Yang penting kita setuju dengan framework dulu. Kerangka itu dulu. Apakah konteks yang kita boleh bekerjasama dari segi the good governance untuk memastikan perpaduan dan integrasi nasional ini dapat diwujudkan.
Fadilah was speaking to reporters after launching the Putrajaya Car Free Day program and the 19th Civil Service Premier Assembly MAPA 2024 run on Saturday. He was responding to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's call for an immediate resolution to the issue of allocating funds to opposition MPs. In May, Fadilah had said that the draft MOU also focuses on initiatives to develop and rejuvenate the national economy for the benefit of the people. The Nenggiri state by-election in Kelantan will see a straight fight between candidates from Barisan Nasional and PAS. BN is fielding Kelantan UMNO youth leader Muhammad Azwawi Fikri Abdul Ghani representing the unity government, while former Royal Malaysian Navy officer Muhammad Rizwadi Ismail is his opponent. Earlier, thousands of supporters accompanied both candidates as they marched towards the nomination centre at Dewan Perdana Gua Musang District Council on Saturday. 38-year-old Azwawi was accompanied by BN Chairman and UMNO President Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, UMNO Vice President Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani, UMNO Secretary General Datuk Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki, as well as Kelantan BN Chairman Datuk Ahmad Jazlan Yaakob. Meanwhile, 41-year-old Rizwadi was accompanied by PAS Deputy President Datuk Seri Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man and PN Deputy Chairman Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal Azumu. Rizwadi was the first candidate to submit his nomination papers at 9:02 a.m, followed by Azwawi 6 minutes later. Both candidates were announced as eligible to contest in the polls by returning officer Nik Raisunan Daud after the nomination process was completed at 10 a.m. The Nenggiri by-election was called after Kelantan State Assembly Speaker Datuk Muhammad Amar Nik Abdullah declared the seat previously held by Muhammad Azizi Abu Naim vacant on June 19th. Azizi was among 7 elected representatives dismissed from Bersatu on June 13th for supporting the unity government. In the state election last August, Azizi won the seat with a slim majority of 810 votes in a straight fight against a BN candidate. The Election Commission (SPR) has set August 17th as polling day with the campaign period lasting 14 days. The Nenggiri constituency has 20,259 registered voters, including 14 postal voters. This will be the 9th by-election since the 15th general election. Meanwhile, Barisan Nasional will look to solve the issues faced by the locals in the Nenggiri by-election. BN Chairman and UMNO President Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said that the party machinery, with the assistance of Pakatan Harapan, will target all 20 polling district centres to engage with the local community.
Dan insyaAllah apa yang menjadi isu utama di Nenggiri ini ialah isu tempatan. Dan insyaAllah isu nasional jika ada pun akan diberikan penjelasan oleh jentera parti di setiap peringkat.
Zahid, who is also the Deputy Prime Minister, said Azmawi, also known as Awi, not only represents all the voters in Nenggiri, but also brings the voice of the younger generation across the Gua Musang district. He added, although a BN victory would not affect the position of the Kelantan state government, led by PAS, which controls 43 of the 45 state seats, the by-election is still significant for BN and its partners in the unity government. Malaysia's aspiration to become a global chip hub is not wishful thinking, as the country has a strong foundation, infrastructure and maturity, with over 50 years of experience in semiconductor manufacturing to achieve this target. Khazanah Research Institute Chairman Dr. Nungsari Ahmad Radi said the real challenge for the country, however, is human capital.
And to move further up, you need, all kinds of engineers, technicians, to man the next level of this development. I think that the real challenge is to offer that. I think fiscal incentives are all there, regulatory, all there, familiarity with dealing with bureaucracy at state and local governments. I think we are familiar in the locations that this thing predominates in Penang, in parts of Kulim, in Selangor. I think we know how to deal. We just need to address the issue of
human capital,
having the right sort of talent to move in tandem with the ambition that we want.
Nungsari said this during TV3's business and financial talk show Money Matters aired on Saturday. Malaysia is the 7th largest semiconductor exporter with 7% of global market share. Under the National Semiconductor Strategy (NSS) launched in May this year, the government aims to attract 500 billion ringgit in investments and to make Malaysia a global research and development hub for semiconductors. The NSS also targets to train and upskill 60,000 high-skilled Malaysian engineers. More than 30 killed in Somalia beach attack. This and more from the foreign front when we return.
Bila masa nak buat solo tu, saya tanya, saya nak buat macam ni. Aku nak call solo lagu ni keluar daripada konteks lagu ni. Saya buat sini fail. Saya cuba buat, MSC tak approve. Tak boleh, aku nak kau keluar. Dia nak yang lain, Sampai to that point yang dia dah macam boiling point tau. Dia dah, kau ni lembab lah. Dia keluar daripada studio. Kalau macam pampas pintu sikit lah.
Dia kata kau ni lembab lah.
Kau ni lembab lah.
Wanita bergelar suri rumah, tangkas dan berani sebagai atlet panjat pokok.
Semenjak kecil lagi memang suka dengan kegiatan lasak, manjat pokok. Secara tak langsung membuat saya terus melibatkan diri di sukan manjat pokok ni lah.
Mesejnya very direct. Be proud, kita mempunyai culture dan tradisi sendiri.
Annyeonghaseyo. Dan sekarang ni saya akan masukkan cili tuna. Kalau pakai fresh kimchi, kimchi jjigae ni tak akan sedap.
Istimewa lintas langsung dari Muzium Negara sempena pameran Raja Kita.
Angka pengidap diabetes terus meningkat. Gaya hidup dan pemakanan antara punca.
Fasa peralihan monsun, jejas alam sekitar dan kesihatan, masyarakat harus peka dengan cuaca panas.
Lesen media sosial, adakah menyekat hak bersuara?
Dan soal wang membincangkan tentang peruntukan duit untuk bersedekah.
MSI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 9.30 pagi eksklusif di TV3.
Dan juga stream melalui Tonton.
Foreign news. At least 32 people have been killed and many more wounded in a suicide bombing and gun attack on a popular beach in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. Daesh group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack via an affiliated radio station, saying they were targeting Somali officials. According to witnesses, the assault began at Lido Beach late on Friday when a suicide bomber blew himself up at the entrance of Beachview Hotel, with several other attackers trying to storm the hotel and firing on people on the beach. Following the bombing, more than 32 people, including one soldier, were killed in the attack and about 63 others were wounded, some of them critically. Security forces had reportedly killed all the attackers at the scene and captured another one who was driving a car filled with explosives. The Daesh group has been fighting to topple the fragile central government in Mogadishu for more than 17 years, carrying out numerous bombings and other attacks in the capital and other parts of the country. Israel's intelligence agency, the Mossad, reportedly hired Iranian security agents to plant explosives in the Tehran guest house where Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was staying. According to Britain's The Telegraph, Ismail was not killed in an aerial strike as claimed by Iran. Citing two Iranian officials, The Telegraph stated that two Iranian agents placed explosives in 3 different rooms at the compound where Ismail might stay. The operatives were then believed to have snuck out of the country but still had a source in Iran. It was believed that they detonated the explosives from abroad at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, killing the Hamas leader who was in Tehran for the inauguration of President Masoud Pezeshkian. A unit responsible for the safety of high-ranking officials, the IRGC, are now certain that Mossad hired agents from the Ansar al-Mahdi protection unit after they discovered additional explosive devices in 2 other rooms upon further investigation. So far, Israel has neither claimed nor denied responsibility for the Hamas leader's death. Vietnamese President To Lam was named to the nation's top position, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, on Saturday, replacing Nguyen Phu Trong, who died 2 weeks ago. Addressing the delegates, Lam vowed to inherit and promote Trong's legacy, make no changes to the Southeast Asian nation's foreign policy, focus on achieving its socio-economic development goals, and continue the country's anti-graft campaign. It was not immediately clear whether the 67-year-old would keep both top jobs until the end of this legislative session in 2026, or whether a new president would be chosen. If Lam keeps wearing both hats, analysts opined that Lam may boost his powers and possibly lead the country to a more autocratic style of leadership, similar to Xi Jinping, who is China's party chief and state president. Malaysia's wait for first medal in Paris continues. Sports when we come back.
Suami saya dia sakit sebab pendarahan otak. Kena tahun lepas pada bulan 3. Tapi masa dia kena masa dalam tidur. Saya perasan dia berdengkur kuat. Kemudian saya kejut dia kata kaki dia tak boleh gerak. Lepas tu kita terus bawa hospital, doktor kata ada pendarahan dalam otak pecah, salur darah dalam otak dia pecah.
Wanita bergelar suri rumah, tangkas dan berani sebagai atlet panjat pokok.
Semenjak kecil lagi memang suka dengan kegiatan lasak, manjat pokok. Secara tak langsung membuat saya terus melibatkan diri di sukan manjat pokok ni lah.
Mesejnya very direct. Be proud, kita mempunyai culture dan tradisi sendiri.
Annyeonghaseyo. Dan sekarang ni saya akan masukkan cili tuna. Kalau pakai fresh kimchi, kimchi jjigae ni tak akan sedap.
Hanya ada satu, iaitu Malaysia yang mengamalkan sistem penggiliran. Sesungguhnya Allah berhak memberikan kekuasaannya kepada seseorang yang dia ingini.
Tuanku ni kita akan cari karakter tuanku tu di mana yang lebih menyerlah.
Daulat tuanku.
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
And sports now, football, the FA Cup. Selangor FC booked their berth in the final after beating Terengganu FC 4-1 in the second leg of their semi-final clash. for a 6-4 aggregate win. Entering the match on a 2-3 scoreline from the first leg, the Red Giants got on the scoreboard as early as in the 3rd minute through skipper Safwan Baharudin. Singaporean international Safwan found the net again 3 minutes later with the header. Terengganu bounced back in the 22nd minute through Nigerian Ismail Akinade before Safwan completed his hat-trick for Selangor 6 minutes before the hour mark. Rezik Banihani wrapped up a glorious night for the Red Giants by scoring in the 93rd minute to seal a 4-1 win. Selangor will now take on either Johor Darul Takzim FC or Kedah Darul Aman FC in the final. On to the 2024 Paris Olympics, Malaysia's hopes of a historic bronze medal in the women's badminton doubles were dashed when Pearly-Thinaah were defeated by Japan's Nami Matsuyama Chihiharu Shida on Saturday night. The world number 12 pair could not do much as they lost in straight sets 11-21, 11-21 to the world number 4 Japanese in the playoff. Pearly-Thinaah, however, had already created history by becoming the first Malaysian women's doubles pair to reach an Olympic semi-final. Malaysia will now depend on men's doubles pair Aaron Chia, So Woo Yik and men's singles shuttler Lee Zijia to confirm at least a medal in badminton on Sunday. Meanwhile, men's singles shuttler Lee Zijia stunned 4th seed Anders Antonsen to reach the semi-finals, keeping Malaysia's hopes alive of winning their first Olympic gold medal. In a match between two friends, world number 7 Zijia dominated the match from start to finish, securing a commanding 21-17, 21-15 win over the Dane in the last 8. In Sunday's semi-final, Zijia will meet 2023 world champion Kunlavut Bititsan from Thailand, who pulled off a sensational surprise by eliminating world number 1 Shi Yuqi of China in another quarter-final tie. Still on the Paris Olympics, national sprinter Azim Fahmi crashed out of the men's 100 meters event after qualifying for the main draw with a second-place finish in a preliminary heat earlier. The US-based Azim, who was given a wild card to take part in the Games, finished last in his 8-man round 1 with a time of 10.45 seconds, well below his national record of 10.09 seconds set 2 years ago. The result has dashed Azim's hope of getting to the semi-finals and failed in his bid to record a season best in Paris. Earlier, the 20-year-old Teluk Intan sprinter made it to round 1 by finishing second with a time of 10.42 seconds. In other Olympic actions, South Korea in the women's 25 meters pistol event after a shoot-off with France's Kamil Jędrzejewski. Young and Jędrzejewski were tied on 37 points at the top, forcing the shoot-off in which the Korean prevailed 4-1. In the swimming event, Léon Marchand completed his dominating run, capturing his 4th gold with another runaway victory in the 200-meter individual medley. The 22-year-old French star took down Michael Phelps's Olympic record from Beijing 2008 with a blistering swim of 1 minute 54.06 seconds. Meanwhile, Hungary secured their second gold by beating defending champions Japan in the final of the men's team épée after a sudden death tiebreak. Gergely Siklosi scored the winning point against Japan's Koki Kano to make it a final score of 26-25, which secured Hungary's first gold medal in the event since the Munich Olympics in 1972. In the athletics event, world record holder Uganda's Joshua Cheptegei turned his silver medal from the Tokyo Olympics into gold in Paris when he won the men's 10,000 meters. The world champion held off a powerful field to win in an Olympic record of 26 minutes, 43.14 seconds, and add to his 5,000 meters gold he won in Japan in 2021. Drug-influenced trailer driver kills 2. The details after this short break.
Pencalonan baru Music 39 minggu ini.
Aku jelmakan aura sesiapa yang buka hatiku.
Siapakah yang bakal menjadi carta top 20 Music 39 minggu ini? Semuanya dalam Music 39 Ahad ini jam 12.20 tengah hari di TV3 dan stream secara langsung di aplikasi Tonton.
Ya Rabbi.
Kalau mati-matilah masa itu.
Trauma yang melanda membelenggu jiwa.
Setiap malam saya tidur, saya macam mengigau.
Gangguan emosi memberi kesan kepada kehidupan harian.
Dia pun takut-takut nak keluar ataupun apa yang dia suka pun dia tak boleh nak buat lagi.
Bagaimana untuk atasi gangguan stres pasca trauma? Ketahui jawapannya dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Kadang-kadang kita terlupa untuk menghargai momen yang ada.
Penting untuk kita cipta kenangan sebab kita tak tahu siapa yang tiada selepas ni.
Ikan bilis kegemaran ramai.
Macam-macam venue boleh dibuat dengan ikan bilis.
Cerai di media sosial.
Apakah nilai sebuah talak?
Trauma bersama selepas bersalin.
Macam mana cara nak mengatasinya ni?
Mentua yang cerewet ke menantu yang pemalas?
Alamak, apa solusinya ni?
Semuanya di WHI TV3
dan stream sekarang ditonton.
Nightline continues. A trailer driver believed to be under the influence of drugs crashed his vehicle into a house, killing 2 siblings in Pekan Pahang early on Saturday. The incident occurred at around 4:15 a.m. at Jalan Pekan Rompin near Kampung Ketapang Hilir. Pekan District Police Chief Superintendent Muhammed Zain said that the trailer transporting plaster ceiling materials was travelling from Johor Bahru to Kuantan. The 40-year-old driver, however, lost control of the vehicle while negotiating a bend before it veered onto the opposite lane and crashed into a house. 32-year-old Nur Nazatul Fasiha Nasruddin was pronounced dead at the scene by medical personnel, while her brother, 21-year-old Muhammad Waldon Faris, succumbed to his injuries at the Pekan hospital several hours later. Their parents, 55-year-old Nurulaini Muhammad Hashim and 64-year-old Nasruddin Uthman, along with Waldon Faris's 19-year-old male friend, who were also in the house at the same time, sustained minor injuries. All 3 of them, along with the trailer driver, were sent to the same hospital for treatment. Authorities also confirmed that the trailer driver tested positive for methamphetamine and amphetamine. He will be remanded on Sunday once he is discharged from the hospital. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act for causing death or injury while driving under the influence of drugs. And lastly, in Sarawak, 2 ship workers were killed while another was severely injured in an explosion on board a supply vessel belonging to an oil and gas company in the waters of Samalaju on Friday night. Bintulu Police Chief Superintendent Nixon Joshua Ali said that the incident was caused by a gas leak in the ship's engine room. There were 16 crew members on board the vessel named MV Supply Amara when the explosion happened at around 10:30 p.m. The blast blew the engine room's door off its hinges and set the place on fire. The crew members then rushed to the lower deck and found 1 victim with severe injuries, while 2 more were dead. The deceased were identified as 36-year-old Muhammad Firdaus Abdul Fattah and 24-year-old George Ngila, while the injured victim was identified as 22-year-old Ahmad Zahid, who suffered 30% burns to his face and hands. He was sent to Bintulu Hospital for treatment. The 2 bodies were also sent to the same hospital for post-mortem. to a close this time around. Let's take a look as indigenous women artists in Peru make their mark in the world of art by sharing their cultural heritage through beautiful murals. With that, I'm Ahmad and Hamdan. Have a restful Sunday ahead.